Size and shape, color pattern, behavior, and habitat are 4 key characteristics to look for when identifying birds. Not only can these features help us tell apart different species from one another, they can also help us tell apart male, female, and immature or young individuals of the same bird species. Sometimes there are no discernible differences, and other times there are dramatic ones. The following videos were taken in late June, so you'll get a chance to see some birds in their breeding colors and even a baby bird that has just learned to fly. As you watch these clips, be sure to use the Summer Identification Guide to try to name as many species as you can. Can you find multiple birds of the same species that look a little bit different from each other? Check the identification guide to see if these might be male, female, or immature birds of the same species. And as always, you might need to stop and replay the video to look around in 360 degrees to find all of the birds. Follow the pointers to find the goldfinches on the tube feeder. What differences can you spot between these two birds, even though they're both the same species? Physical differences in color, size, or shape between males and females of the same species is called sexual dimorphism, something you see in many species throughout the animal kingdom and even in some plants. Female and immature goldfinches are difficult to tell apart, but notice the bright yellow feathers and black forehead patch on the male. In many species of birds, the males are more brightly colored during breeding season to attract a mate. After the breeding season is over, the male goldfinches will lose their bright colors and start to look more similar to females and immature birds. But not all birds have different looking males and females. The male and female pine siskin, for instance, look so similar that they cannot be reliably told apart in the field. One hypothesis suggests that in species where the male and female look alike, the male has a stronger role in raising the young. Did you correctly identify the male and female black-headed grosbeak? Because these black-headed grosbeaks have just arrived for breeding in this region, it is unlikely there are any immatures present. So, although the females and immatures look alike, this one here is most likely a female. This is an example of how knowing the time of year and the location can help bird watchers and scientists make more accurate identifications. At first glance, these two raspberry-headed birds look almost the same, but surprisingly are actually two different species. Can you spot the difference between them? Look carefully around the eyes and head. The purple finch's head is completely red, while the house finch is a bit brown around the eyes and on the very top of the head. Looking for subtle differences can often help us distinguish between similar-looking birds. But don't get too set in your ways. Male house finches can have a range of coloration, with some individuals fairly bright, as this one here, and others with very little red at all. Given the color and pattern of this bird, you might have thought it was a pine siskin. But did you notice how thick the bill is, which actually looks more like that of a house or purple finch? In fact, this is a female or immature house finch. These house finches are another example of a species with a more brightly colored male and a less colorful female. We know the male is generally more colorful to better attract the attention of the female, but why do you think the female and immature birds keep their dull colors? Well, we could imagine these two birds in a tree or on the ground. Which one do you think would be easier for a predator to spot? The female remains less colorful to help her camouflage and better avoid predators. Finally, we have one more new bird to look at. Here you can see a picture of a female spotted towhee. Knowing what the female towhee looks like, you might be surprised to find out this bird is also one. Here we're looking at a juvenile, a young spotted towhee that has recently left the nest and is able to take care of itself, but is still developing its adult feathers. As you've just seen, sometimes bird species are easy to identify, but sometimes, as in the case of the purple and house finches, birds can be difficult to tell apart from one species to another. And even within a species, the male, female, or young birds can all look quite different from one another. As you become more experienced in birding, you'll learn to notice these subtle differences. Two great resources to learn more about identifying different birds are Audubon's Bird Guide website and All About Birds from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Both organizations also have excellent free apps available for your phone or tablet that can guide you through the different identification processes through a series of questions on things like location, color, size, habitat, and other keys to telling birds apart. Happy birding!